Welcome to Hit Enter. In this new episode, I'm talking with Johan Hoorn of WeWork Amsterdam about the need of robotics in healthcare, the fascinating story of caredroid Alice, artificial intelligence, and why everybody that has a grandma, as Johan puts it, should get involved in advancing robotics in healthcare. Hi everyone, I'm Samir Saberi and today I am here with Johan Hoorn, the research director of the research group SELEMCA at the Free University. Johan, it's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Hi.
Johan, can you tell us a bit more about your research project which is focusing on healthcare and robotics and about the very interesting robot Alice?
Okay, well, that's a story. SELEMCA is short for Services of Electromechanical Care Agencies. We study basically two things. We study technology and we study the effects of technology on people. On the one hand, it's a very fundamental, basic research project. We study emotion, we study creativity, reality perception on the one hand, and also ethics. On the other hand, we try to apply it, all the things that we find out, in practice, and our practice is care, because there the need for technological assistance is really high and increasing. So that's what we do, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You said that the need for technological assistance in healthcare is really high.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Why is that? Because in the long run, I think within a few decades, institutions like the WHO are predicting that we will have on every youngster 2 elderly people.
Mm-hmm.
That means
that's on a global scale?
Yeah, that's on a global scale. It's not just the Netherlands or the west of Europe, it's also China, it's also Japan, it's also South America. Which means that you can actually put a lot of money into educating more people for care tasks,
mm-hmm.
but you will be short of hands.
Literally.
Literally.
Yeah.
So you can say society should actually take care of their elderly people better and not put machines into it.
But that's what I would think. Yeah.
That's what you would think, and perhaps that's true for now, right now, but not in the long run. I mean, we need to come up with something that will take off boring and repeating tasks from the hands of human caregivers in order to let them do the specialized work.
Exactly.
And that's why we want to apply the robots to care tasks. That's also why we are studying the things that I said, like morality, emotion regulation, because those things are needed when you confront a machine with a human being.
Yeah.
That's not button pushing, right?
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
And within the project, you're also developing a robot which is called Alice, and you actually put it out in the wild
right.
with a few elderly women. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Well, Alice is just our flagship machine. We have many more of them. We have also Zora robots and Darwin robots and tiny robots. And yeah, exactly. And little cuddle monkeys, etc. So, but Alice is the one that's the most flashy. Mm-hmm. Now, the whole outer appearance of Alice, the puppet and the face, that's all created by David Hansen, who's a very good friend of ours, of our laboratory. He's American. And what we did, I mean, Alice has 2 components in a way. We developed the brain in a way, right? Mm-hmm. So we redesigned actually the inner workings of Alice in order to make that really work, because it was almost a prototype, hardly usable. Mm-hmm. Moreover, we developed the AI that will, in the long run, steer Alice autonomously. Mm-hmm. Right? Where now we use a puppet master. That's a big difference. So what you see, if you've seen the movie, you will see the puppet master interact with the elderly people, and just some things are done by the robots automatically. But in the computer we can simulate much more than we can do right now in the wild.
Why is that?
Why is that? Because if the robot in the computer says, I feel so much involved with this person, it's just a number.
Exactly.
It's not translated into, okay, what should someone say who is involved? What's the speech that's connected to it? How do I have facial expressions in order to show you that I'm involved? Or the hands that I move? Those are all, let's say, interface design issues that have to be made after the thing has processed the information that it's got and the things it wants to reply.
And that's right now not built
and
into
that's
the
not
system.
there yet. This is why we need a lot of industry effort in order to make that happen. Because we can tell everybody what it has to do from many studies and also from intuition. You know how the expression should take place, but it's not there yet, or in a very rudimentary form.
To really understand it, because I'm doubting a bit, so it's not, you need the industry effort because it's technological not feasible, or is it technological feasible?
Yeah, it's feasible, but you need people who can make animations, for instance.
Okay.
Or you need people who can do interaction design.
So there is some technological development issue still that needs to be done.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's not available on the market
in rudimentary forms, and well, that's the good news. That's what we've seen in our studies as well. If you want to apply them to elderly people, they don't have very high requirements. They don't have very high demands. I always say if it has two eyes, a voice, and is physically present, you will talk to it.
Yes.
So you don't need high-end AI to already help people feeling less lonely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. As Alice did in the documentary.
So as an industry, you can really go step by step. You can pick the low-hanging fruit right now, do already amazing things.
What are the low-hanging fruits in your opinion?
If you have just a little bit more conversation skills, and technologically that's possible, and they could be confined to very specialized things like the weather, the coffee, the family, people will already love to talk to it and feel less lonely because of it. And this is what I know from all the research. In the long run, you can develop our high-end AI to make the character more enjoyable or morally more interesting or whatever, more entertaining, or a better coach, or diagnostics, medicine intake, whatever. But the low-hanging fruit right now is, can you make a machine that people feel comfy with?
Yeah.
And that can be done pretty easily.
Yeah.
But what we have now is like state of the art. It's not scaled up to a degree where you can buy it for 40 euros, right?
Yeah. Actually, I would really like to advise the audience to have a look at the documentary. It's Alice the Robot, and it's really great. It's really fascinating to see. And one of the scenes is that Alice talks with Lady Remkes, Mrs. Remkes, and she hasn't gone out of the building for at least 7 days.
Right.
And the next time Alice sees her and asks her the same question, did you go outside? And she says, no, I didn't. And then she proposes, Alice proposes Mrs. Remkes to go outside, and you see Mrs. Remkes really flourishing up. Yeah. So the question is the question is that AI built into the system, or did you take the data you had previously and programmed it into Alice the next time? How did that go about?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the documentary is called Ik ben Alice, or Alice Cares. At that time, the wonderful thing in that scene is actually that mevrouw Remkes, Miss Remkes, is telling, oh, if you want to go out, I'm willing to go with you. And this is extremely important in this human-robot interaction. Here it is actually not the person, the patient itself who is hospitalized and is in need of something. No, she will grant actually the robot who is in need of going out. Exactly. You see, so it's
That's you do
the role reverse is something that we do a lot, and that works extremely well. So she will do it for her. That's the same with the exercising. The other lady wanted to do the exercises because Alice wanted to. Yeah, that's actually so. Okay, now from the technological point of view, we could have done that completely automatically. But that's still AI in a very, very advanced and very experimental form. So in this case, because we were shooting the documentary and the question was, who will people respond to it? We did it the way you said. So we took the information from the last time and used it for the next time. Exactly. That's how we did it. So in the documentary, it's not artificial intelligence. Most of it is natural intelligence.
Yes.
But the thing we focus on is how do the people respond to it, knowing in the back of our minds what we can and cannot do in order to make that happen automatically.
To your point about using natural intelligence instead of advanced AI, why didn't you use advanced AI? Is that because it's really not available, or are you too afraid to use it right now out in the wild, in the field?
Well, it's advanced AI because we can we can study it inside the computer, but it's not good enough yet to make it available to people because too many unexpected things will happen. So the technology itself
Can you give
is
examples
too feeble. Well, if I give a very simple answer, if we are talking about the weather, it's a very contained topic, probably. Is it good or bad weather, sunny or dry? And you know what responses will follow. Oh, how nice it is sunny. Yes. Oh my goodness, it is raining. I am sad. But once someone starts from raining to, let's say, the lampshade, the AI is out because that's too big of a jump.
Yes.
Right? So that's why you cannot use it in a natural setting yet.
Yeah.
And we need to work on those things, like the big unexpected things, much more before we actually can give it to someone and see what the response is. If we had done that in the documentary, people would they would fall silent, right? Because now the computer doesn't know what to say anymore, so there's 5 minutes of nothing.
Well, that happens.
Rebooting the system.
Now and then it happens that the computer, that Alice falls silent.
Yeah. So and in those cases, humans are actually picking up the conversation.
Exactly. To get the conversation on a more general, higher level, what's your take on Bill Gates, for example? Elon Musk are the most prominent people that are quite afraid of AI, and then I'm talking about strong AI, maybe.
Yeah.
What's your take on that? Do you agree or not? You just said that you
I fear people more than machines, yes.
Why?
Why? Because people make those machines and they, in this case, they don't create a moral stop button. So whenever that is running out of hand, whether for ill or for good, it's their fault. Right? I mean, you made it that way.
But you agreed that there is a dilemma. On the one hand, we would like to have strong AI.
Yeah.
Because it could help us tremendously.
Diagnosis, for instance.
Exactly. Yes. But on the other hand, it starts to think of itself.
Yeah.
So how do you cope with that dilemma?
Well, the dilemma is present in every new technology. I usually have an example of a knife. I can use the knife to make you bread. So it's a good knife because of my use.
But a knife doesn't think on itself, and strong AI will think.
No, but there are many machines that do things that you and I cannot do anymore. A car can run much faster than you.
Yes.
So I can use it to kill you, I can use it to bring you to the hospital.
Yes.
I can also design things that are made to kill people, like a gun.
Yes.
I don't have to do that, right? So I can make a thing that's not for the worst.
Are you actually saying just one last point on this issue? Are you just actually saying that we can design strong AI to be not harmful to human beings?
If we in two ways, yes, in two ways. One thing is, can you make it such that we still understand what it is doing? Well, I know there are systems out there in the world, like I said, flash trading with algorithms of which even the designers don't know what it's doing, and so you can have...
We talked about this issue.
Yeah, you can have a crash just like that, not knowing where it came from.
Yes.
That's the same what we can do with AI as well. So just out of randomness, you can have very adverse effects, but also very beneficial effects that just happen, but we don't know why.
Yes.
So that's one thing, you can design it such, if you want to, that you still can have a grip on the interactions that take place. The other thing, that's what we study and what we also develop, is give it a moral reasoning system.
Yes.
So that it will also in itself can think or see, if I do this action, the following things will go wrong. And then it can make a signal, it can send a signal to, do you still want me to do this? Mm-hmm. And this is what we also try within the care setting. We are developing moral reasoning systems that will actually tell the human co-worker, is it allowed for me to do this? It can even tell the co-worker, are you sure you are allowed to do the following?
Yes.
So and in that sense, it's still the decision of yes and no is with the human.
Yes.
But it will help you become a better person in a way.
Exactly.
So and this is a completely different approach. You don't have to throw the atom bomb, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
That's quite a big statement.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. The other thing is that also it's just generally known, but also in the documentary, is that a lot of people are, the nurses in the documentary,
right.
they're quite afraid of the emotional and social skills of
right.
the computers.
Right.
What's your take on that?
Right now they are limited.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. On the other hand, and this is really interesting to see, we did experiments with a human doctor on television giving advice about some disease to the participant.
Yes.
We also did that same thing with a robot doctor giving that same advice to other participants, right?
Yes.
So between those two groups you will see the following. Because the doctor can do this right and in a wrong way. Mm-hmm. If the doctor does it in the right way, that's the most preferred. We want that, right? That's the most involvement, and they will take the advice and try to live according to it. But if the doctor, the human doctor, does it wrong, he's the pits.
Yes.
And the robot is in between. Mm-hmm. So I always say, you better have a good robot than a bad doctor.
Yes.
And that's the same with this. There are things in human-human relationships that are not nice.
Yes.
Our interactions aren't always the best they are. Mm-hmm. So in case of gossiping about people or being judgmental about behaviors, mm-hmm. there are no social repercussions in doing a confession to a computer. Mm-hmm. So you will see that especially lonely people confess things to a computer, to the robot in this case, yes. that they will hardly or perhaps never tell to a human being. Yes. So this stranger on the train effect, as they call it in psychology, mm-hmm. has a genuine emotional and social effect, although the thing itself doesn't feel a thing, right? I mean, yes. the machine doesn't care, but this is actually good that the machine doesn't care.
Exactly.
So you really have to know what you are modeling here and what you want to leave to AI and not.
Yes. So probably this is one of the findings of your research.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are there any other interesting findings you didn't think about and you were fascinated about? Can you share
fascinated about that the technology doesn't have to be flawless. Mm-hmm. What's the response of those people? Yeah, well, my friends forget things too.
Doesn't have to be flawless for what?
Technically.
Yeah, no, but for which objective? Doesn't have to be flawless.
Well, it can stutter, it can forget things, it can fall out, the eye may not work. Yeah. Which is no problem, as long as it's nice and cozy, and we have a conversation every. Like I said, their friends are not that coherent either.
To just get it, straight for the audience because they didn't see the documentary. Right. But your point is that it doesn't have to be flawless because the relationships between the elderly woman and the computer Alice, it was quite good actually. They were bonding.
The need for companionship is far more important than whether we have a technical superb system.
Yes.
The other thing that's really nice, where we thought it was a drawback, became actually a very good thing, a requirement. I would say every elder care robot should have. It shouldn't move. It should be stable and static. We thought the legs didn't work that well on the Alice machines. We couldn't get it running. Like I said, it's more like a prototype than a real thing. we thought, okay, well, we put it stationary in a seat and that's it. Yeah, we actually wanted it to walk around, which is no good because people will trip over them and they will actually forget where it was, where was the machine, where did I leave it, and now they know where it is and they will not trip over it.
Yes.
So that was actually a good thing that came out of, we thought was a bad thing. So that's why I say it doesn't have to be flawless.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. You're very much into the field of AI, you're an expert in AI and robotics in healthcare, and I was wondering if you could share with us a number of startups that are really doing great work in this area.
The SELEMCA project has stopped actually this year. Some people write their PhD thesis, but that's it, then it's over. So we are actually building a new lab in the north of Amsterdam together with corporates and startups. It's called the Social Robotics Pop-Up Lab. That's a center for debate, but also everything that comes out of that debate will go into the development or the study of robotics in healthcare or any other social area. Some companies will start creating things, other companies will start to build a business model around it. One of the things I really love from SELEMCA is really a really nice spin-out, spin-off, how you want to call it, is tiny bots. So they took the whole lesson to heart to have a minimal robot that will have a maximal effect in the sense of people who can do those confessions to a robot when they are lonely, isolated. It's not just for the elderly, also for people who are really impaired physically, who are spastic. They are socially isolated as well. And this works like an electronic diary in a way where they can just tell the machine whatever happened that day, which is really nice. And that's coming along really fine right now.
And on a global scale, are there any other startups we should...
Startups. On a global scale, I only see things like, for instance, the Japanese government or the British government pumping a lot of money into social robotics.
Yes.
Whereas we have, in a way...
It does make sense for Japan, of course, because of the...
Yeah, but for us as well. The thing I'm worrying about, and that's what I'm also doing this in this lab in the north of Amsterdam, is that we have a lot of technological advantage and we know how it works with people, but we're actually not building an industry around it.
Yes.
And I'm already pounding the drum since 2013, and the only thing I get back is, we have our normal venues for that, start a new Click NL program, and but that won't do the trick, I'm afraid.
Yes, but actually this is more or less an invitation to everybody that would like to get involved in
Absolutely, and that's not just industry partners, right? It could be research partners, but also ordinary people, because everybody has a grandma. Yeah. And we need all that information to make it work. Yes. And everybody has an opinion about it, we want to hear that.
So you're actually organizing an event about this subject with KPMG Innovative Startups.
Absolutely.
So I was wondering, can you tell us a bit more about what people can expect from the event?
Okay, we have two tracks there. One is the executive track. We will show the movie Alice again, and we will discuss that it's really important that they also contribute in decision making, but also financially. The other thing is more for the general public, and that's all kinds of demonstrations regarding robots and AI. So on the one hand we have Alice, of course, she's there. We will have Zora robots because QBMT from Belgium is also part of this robot lab.
QBMT is a company?
It is a company, yes, that's a Belgian company, very famous for installing the first robots in all these different care institutions. But we will also show deep learning algorithms that can make a robot creative. So it's a very widespread that we will show there.
It sounds very fascinating. Yeah. Actually, the whole subject is fascinating.
Absolutely.
And probably we'll hear a lot more about it as the future advances. So really great to talk with you, Johan. Thank you for being with us.
Well, thank you for being here. Yeah.